Jordan, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, boys. It was a great seminar you just put on.
Good day.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good time, dude.
Hanging out with
a bunch of new trainers, potential trainers. I love talking to that group, you know?
Yeah.
And it looks like you do too.
I think it's my favorite, because I was there not long ago. Yeah. And it's cool, because I remember sitting in crowds of other coaches and looking up at coaches who I admired and being like, one day I want to be there. So it's really cool to see that young, hungry crowd of coaches. And like I was saying, this is a very saturated industry with people who call themselves coaches.
Yeah.
But it's very unsaturated in terms of people who want to be really good and great coaches. So for the people who make time out of their day or out of their weekend to spend time and money to come into a place like this to get educated, it says a lot. And it's really great for our industry.
Yeah. You're one of the most successful, if not the most successful coach that I know. Coach both online, in person. I don't know if you do in person anymore, but I think it's mostly online now. And since we first met you, now it's been a little while.
I think 2019.
The growth of the online coaching industry. So these are people who teach coaches how to build their business, and that's exploded. Yeah. Along with that has come a lot of funny business. So I'll just say that. Yeah. How do you feel about that? Because I've never seen coaching or personal training being pitched as a fast way to make money until relatively recently. Now it's like this get quick rich scheme, which is interesting because it's fitness. It's like there's way better ways to make a lot of money. So how do you feel about all that? Because a lot of the stuff they say it's like nails on a chalkboard for me.
Yeah, it's very recently that being a personal trainer became like a lucrative, it could be a lucrative career. My whole family my mom is always
still waiting for you to get a real job.
100%. My mom is still very much just like, you could always go back to school to be a doctor. Just very Jewish mom. You'd be a doctor, be a lawyer. The thing that actually made my family as a whole more like, oh wow, maybe this is legit, is when I published a book. Oh wow. Publishing a book, because they're doctors, there's lawyers, they're professors, and so a lot of them. So for them to have a published book, that's success in their eyes. Not like helping people and having people who've you've improved their lives. It's like, oh, you've published a book. Okay, it's successful. It's like, motherfucker. And I don't even, I don't even push the book. Yeah. It's like, it's not even close to the most important thing. But listen, it's anytime there's a place for someone to make money, the industry around selling coaches on how to get rich quick, you're getting a lot of horse shit.
Yeah.
So we see people pushing passive income models and scaling your business and the easy way outs. And so that's when people see other coaches who are presumably doing well and they're like, oh, I could do that. I want to do that. And they get into the industry not because they want to help people, but because they think it's easy to make money. Yeah. And that's when we end up getting a really shit name in the industry.
It's such a hard profession to expect to try and make a lot of money. You could make the argument that almost any profession is like that, but I feel like if you understand finances or day trading or things like that, you could get in there and start making money relatively quick if you did the work. But training is not like that. You have to train. You can have all the education, you can have all the national certs, you can have all the degrees, but if you still haven't got in front of people, you're still not going to be a very good coach and trainer until you learn how to communicate and help everyday average people. It's hard, and that just takes years. It takes a long time of failing and not doing. So it's interesting that we are in this time where it is being sold to trainers that you can make all this money really quick. It's like, man, it was not really quick for me.
I'll tell you what happened to me. I was at Easter, had my whole family, so extended family, had a family reunion, it was like 150 people. And my cousin, my generation, her son, who's 16, listens to the show. So she's like, my son wants to meet you. He's a huge fan. And I've met this kid just like a few times when he was little, so I don't know him very well. So he comes up, he's super nervous. He starts talking to me and he's like, I want to be an online coach. I'm like, oh, really? Well, how come? He goes, you can make a lot of money. I'm like, oh my God, what happened?
Who told you that?
Yeah, and he's like, so how do I get started? I'm like, well, first of all, I said, you should probably train people in person first. I think that's a great idea. And he's like, well, I watched so-and-so, and he says you could just go online. And I know who he's talking about. It's the guy that it's one of those guys that's like, I'm going to have a private jet and I got this new car.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, dude, that's not how it works. How do you communicate that to coaches that you talk to? Because there is this impression that I like fitness, so therefore I'm going to become a virtual trainer without ever training anybody in person.
Yeah, listen, you just saw me speak to a group of people. I'm pretty blunt. I'm pretty blunt about it. And in the same way with my fitness content, like I don't see much value in beating around the bush. And I feel like you're going to get people who are more aligned with you and you just are honest and straightforward about it. So in the same way, when I'm working with someone in fitness, I'm not going to lie to them and be like, yeah, you'll never be hungry in a calorie deficit. I'm like, yeah, you're going to get hungry and like this is normal and it's going to be difficult. Same thing with fitness coaches. You weed people out as soon as you say like, hey, this is going to be tough. And by the way, I'll say from the very beginning, if your main goal is to make money, I don't want to work with you. If that's your main goal should be, I want to help people. That should be your main goal. And like making money is not a bad thing at all. And I think the more you help people, the more money you're probably going to make.
Right.
But if your main goal is making money, odds are, number one, you're not going to make it past the first year or two tops. Because like the first year or two, you're not going to make much money, if at all. And then you end up doing stupid shit that isn't actually going to help people, which then further secures that you're not going to do well. The best way to build a business is, especially fitness business, in person, becoming a great coach, helping people, getting referrals. That is how you start off at the great online or personal training business, which then often the people who are in person will become your first online coaching clients. And then you know them, you better understand them, their family members, their friends, their colleagues will become online coaching clients. And I think I've said this on the podcast before, and I know you guys agree, being an in-person coach will make you a better online coach, but being an online coach will not make you a better in-person coach.
Yeah, 100%.
So listen, anytime someone tells me they just want to start off as an online coach because it's going to make more money, it's just like, that's fucking stupid. And I'll just tell them right to their face.
Yeah.
What's motivated you recently? You've created a lot of content for children.
Yeah.
I know you're a dad. Is that what motivated you? Was it just becoming a dad and you're like...
It was becoming a dad and then realizing there's not any good content for kids for work, like, because...
There's nothing. So
I'm not the no screen family. I know there are some families who are like, my kids are never going to look at a screen. I'm like, well, eventually they're going to fucking look at a screen. So like it's more just about moderation. Like we go outside, we go hiking, we play, and then occasionally like you can use the screen. And when she was looking at the screen, my oldest daughter, I was like, you know what, it started because I wanted to find dance classes for my daughter online. And they have like these like, there's this one woman who with her daughter, they do like ballet classes on YouTube. And I was shocked at how bad it was. The audio quality was terrible. The structure was terrible. And my daughter actually really enjoyed it though. I was like, so then I wonder if there's fitness stuff. And I started looking and there's none. There was just no good fitness stuff for kids. So I spoke to my videographer. I was like, we're going to do this now. I was like, once a week, every week for 6 months, we're going to make a new kids video just to see how it goes. And it has gone super well. It's gone it's gone great. I mean, there's a lot of room for growth, but like I'm getting video. It's my most shared content right now. Like Coach J is my most shared content. Like when people are tagging you and stuff, that's what I'm getting tagged in most is my people showing their kids doing my kids' workouts, which is just fucking awesome.
That's so cool. I have to have you tell like the unintended sort of person that's using that content as well. You told me that, this is obviously geared towards kids. It's fun, it's engaging, it's entertaining, but then you found another demographic that actually was surprisingly using it.
People in their 30s and 40s who have never worked out in their life who are like, I didn't know where to start and I don't have any equipment, so I started doing your kids' workouts.
Really?
Which are, by the way, like dinosaur workouts or safari workouts.
What?
And they're literally DMing me being like, and it's fun, and like I get a laugh and a kick out of it, but they're 10-minute workouts. And so they'll do 3 or 4 in a row. It's like they're doing 30 or 40 minutes of these workouts. Like by the end of one, I'm tired. It's tough.
Yeah.
But it's also foundational movements and it's teaching. And so like these 30 or 40-year-olds are getting legit workouts in.
Yeah.
And also another really cool benefit, because in my mind, I made them for between 2 and 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty significant age range. But then I've gotten people like, hey, my son is 16. He's like severely autistic and he loves your workouts. It's been very cool to see different age groups, different demographics who like otherwise aren't moving very much are like now for almost an hour moving nonstop, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Today's program giveaway is Maps Strong. If you want to win, leave a comment below this video in the first 24 hours that we drop it. Subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications. If you win, we'll let you know in the comment section. We also have a sale. Maps Split and the Anabolic Metabolism Bundle are 50% off. If you're interested, you go to mapsfitnessproducts.com and then use the code July50 for the discount. Back to the show.
So step the audience through how how you test a theory like this, right? I think this is so valuable. A lot of people get like paralysis by analysis, right? They're going to start this kids channel or an idea, and they have this huge grand idea, and they spend months trying to plan it. It's like you came across, oh, there's nothing out there for this. I want to make it. How did you test that hypothesis? What did that like? That step by step. You realized it, and then the next day, were you shooting your next video? And what did it look like? And how did you like step me through what that process looked like?
So I will say I have a videographer. If I didn't have a videographer, I still would have done it.
Sure.
I just would have shot it on my own camera, and then I would have uploaded it, and it wouldn't have been as well produced and as good, but it would have been fine. Like I still think it would have been. I mean, you guys saw my first YouTube videos today. Like they sucked, and it's turned out fine. It builds up over time.
Yeah.
And especially when you find something where there's white space where no one's done it, that's when you've got to go fast.
Yeah.
And so I found this white space in which no one was making good workout videos for kids. I was like, great, like this is it. So I was like, I want to jump on it. I called my videographer, and we already filmed every week anyway. And I was like, so now we're going to add this to it. And I was like, we're going to do it at least for 6 months, every single week. Because you need time.
Yep.
Like you need time for it to build up. And usually I like to say a year. But right now, I'm losing money hand over fist on this project. I'm spending thousands of dollars every month creating these videos, and I'm not making any money directly from it. There are parents who are watching who will then join my inner circle as a result of it, because the parents are getting involved in the workouts and they're seeing me more, so I'm becoming more of a household name. But in terms of like, I'm not doing any ads or sponsorships, or they're not like going, there are a couple videos have done like very well for a very small channel, but like they're not going viral or anything. I'm losing money hand over fist every single week with these. But it's one of those things. It's like, it's a long-term investment. It's like, I'm going to do this for a long time, and hopefully within 3 to 5 years, they'll pick up.
Yeah.
What's the now making because you've been making content for adults for a long time.
Yep.
Getting their attention, communicating value, giving them things that they can apply. All important skills you've learned over time. How to make a video effective. How big of a difference is it for kids' videos? Like that's got to be so different. Like, did you just watch other kids' videos and go, okay, I'm going to make fitness ones that look like this? Like, what was that like?
No, because there were no kids videos that were for fitness that existed that were good at all. No. So I just made it up. And like, I love my kids, and like, I'm pretty good with kids. So I just wanted to make it fun and exciting. So literally every video starts being like, what's up, kids? I'm Coach Jay, and today we're going to do an under the sea workout. So we're going to be doing shark fin slaps and whatever. And like, that's how it starts. Then we jump right into the workout, and I'll like be communicating with them throughout the whole time, being like, what's your favorite fruit? Mine is kiwi. Tell me, let me know. And then I'll like wait for a second and be like, oh, that's a great fruit. And then like, as though I could hear what they said.
Engaging with them that
way. It's just trial and error. And I've done, I don't know, maybe 20 plus videos already.
Yeah. What have you learned so far?
Man, I've learned a lot, but I would say it's for me. It's just about I'll tell you this. This is what I've learned. So the most common, aside from people tagging me in the videos of their kids doing it, a lot of parents ask me to send videos to their kid, and I do it every time.
That's cool.
They're like, I'll pay. You don't need to pay me.
That's like, almost like what's the
Cameo?
App? Cameo.
Yeah, I've asked literally people like, hey, do you do Cameo? My kids want a video from Coach Jay. No. I'm happy to do it. So oftentimes I'll screenshot them.
Yeah.
I'll wait until I'm in my Coach Jay dress up, and I'll have the headband or the wristbands on or whatever.
That's so great.
And then
that's how you build your cult following.
It's equivalent to what you were teaching the trainers out there, right? The trainer that complains about his engagement and this and that, and then emoji thumbs up. It's just like, you actually have parents that want you to make videos for their kids because they love you that much. It's like, do it. You have the time. There'll come a time when you won't be able to. Just a fact, right?
Correct.
If that channel blows up to be, blippy size,
exactly,
you will not be able to do that. But while you can, like 100%, like you got to do that.
Yeah.
So that's
exactly.
so cool.
Yeah.
And it's great. I mean, these kids, they go nuts. Like, it's awesome.
Well, I was just going to ask you, because you have is a 2.5-year-old and 8-month-old?
Correct. Yep.
Just wait till like a little 5-year-old says something mean to you. You'll see that
You suck.
YouTube kids
you
doesn't
have big
have
ears,
comments,
Jordan. You have weird eyebrows.
no comments on YouTube kids.
There's no comments on YouTube kids?
It's great. I post it now.
Better.
Oh, that's good.
Which is actually really great.
Schoolyard insults. They're bald.
So how does that work in terms of like advertisement and all that if you're going through like the kids channel?
So I use my email list, and I use my main Instagram account. Every time I post it, I'm sharing it. I'm like, hey, go, like, please. And listen, it would mean the world to me if you would share this. It would help. And like, it's starting to reach people who don't follow me on my regular fitness page, like people who are just finding
cool.
it. Yeah, it's really, really cool. But it's over 6 months in, and like it's just starting. And
so, are you more or less excited? Because you're also, last time we talked, you've been really building like us, the kind of the trainer side. Like you guys are mentor trainers.
Yep.
You have that. I would imagine those are two major focuses right now for you.
Yeah.
Does one excite you more than the other? How do you feel about each one?
I think it's pretty equal in terms, because you really get an opportunity to reach more than just the one person you're helping. So when you help coaches, it's great because then you essentially directly help every single client that they work with. For me, I love the kid stuff because especially right now, like in everything we're seeing with Maha, right? We're seeing a huge focus on public health, and there's a lot of resistance from both. Like there's a lot of resistance, and there's politics and da 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 da. I love being able to directly impact the kids. I love to directly get these kids, getting them understanding how great it is to feel strong, to eat more protein, more fruits and vegetables. Like that for me is amazing, because if we could talk all the politics that we want, all the policy that we want, it's like for me, it starts with the kids. And if the kids are focused on it, then the parents are more like if you have your kid being like, hey, I want to do a Coach J workout, it's like the parents are gonna be like, okay, then I'll do it with you. And in the videos, I'm like, if your grown-ups are sitting there, get them to stand up and get them to do that. And especially if I'm doing like some type of a stretch or something, like for something for their low back, like a scorpion, I'll be like, your grown-up needs this, get them on the ground right now with you.
Oh, cool.
And so I'll speak to them throughout these videos to get the grown-ups involved as well. But if we're really being honest about how we can improve public health, I think it does start with the kids.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So that is something that I'm super excited about.
How do you feel about, because there is a lot of awareness, more so than I can remember in terms of health with public policy. And I think they are tackling things differently than we have in the past.
Yep.
I'm never optimistic when it comes to government policy with
Me
health.
either.
However, I'm more optimistic than I have been before just because of the focus. Like, what do you think about some of the stuff they're saying? I know some of the direction they're going is like, well, I don't know if that's gonna make a difference, but what do you think?
There's a lot of nuance to it, right? On one hand, I love that health is at the forefront of the discussion. That's great. I love that. Like you were saying, I think that they're focusing on stuff that is like I think a lot of it is publicity and performative as opposed to like, hey, how much is this really going to help? Like, for example, RFK Jr. going to the burger place, and be like, now this is in beef tallow instead. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's really gonna move the needle.
Like, really? That to me seemed performative. And early on, like, I really was, the reason I was most hopeful about RFK Jr. because he was the only politician that I've heard that was really striving for unity to bridge the gap across the aisle, because there's so much divisiveness politically in this country. And he was the only one who was really like, I don't want to talk shit about this side. I don't want to talk shit about that side. I just want us to come together as a country. And I was like, fuck yeah, like that's what I want.
Right.
I'm tired of this just divisive rhetoric, propaganda nonsense. And I don't agree with a lot of what he's doing in terms of like the order of events. Like realistically, I think if we're going to talk about what we need to do as a society and as from a policy perspective, incentives we can create for people to get exercising and focusing on their health more, seed oils would not be number one on that list at all, nor would food dyes. Now, am I mad that they're potentially getting rid of these things? No, I think it's very cool to talk about it. But imagine like a client comes to you.
Yeah.
And like, hey, I need to lose weight.
I'm obese. Get rid of your seed oils and your food dyes.
Pre-diabetic. I'm like, how many food dyes are you eating? You know, it's like, come on. That's not what you do with your client. So on a larger scale, I don't think it makes sense as like anywhere near the first thing. And I think that they're realizing, okay, public opinion is really supporting this, so let's go after this rather than what does public health actually need?
Yeah.
Do you think there's strategy to that though, in terms of attacking some things that you can legally with big business and sort of steering, I guess big business first and then having that sort of affect the public as a result and then kind of working on the bigger things as he goes? Or do you think it's just like, yeah, what's popular right now in public opinion?
I'm going to give you a really pessimistic answer, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't think that anyone in very high level government is going to be necessarily going after the most important things unless it makes sense for their political party. I think political party, re-election, power,
course.
is always going to be number one. And so public opinion will dictate their decisions, not necessarily this is what's best. And I think this is both sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
So I don't trust government.
Right.
Period. Like, I just don't. And I
Why?
think that.
But don't you think that, you
Like,
think that's
what
why
do
he's
you
not
mean?
touching, I guess, the big rocks is because there's a lot of red tape there?
I don't think that we should have career politicians. I think it's a major fucking problem.
Yeah.
And when I'm looking at how the government operates and how lobbying works and how much money is behind the scenes, I think putting your trust in the government, regardless of the side, is a really fucking bad idea. And they're like, yeah. So I mean, I don't think that they're putting public health first. I think they're putting what is popular right now to get us more votes. And so, yeah. That's unfortunately.
My biggest hope.
I don't disagree.
One of my biggest hopes isn't, I mean, and this is just to go, this is how low the bar is. I think that the food industry with processed foods, I think that's a big part of the problem. Just the way they've engineered the foods, and they make people overeat, and that's a big piece of the puzzle, I'd say. And I've never seen an effective way to tackle that because it's so big and powerful. And it's like, there's so many problems associated with trying to even tackle that until GLP-1s.
Yeah.
And now, for the first time in a long time, we're seeing the sale of processed foods drop.
Yeah.
Because the other evil giant now is competing with them.
Fighting each other.
Is big pharma versus big food.
Yes.
This is crazy for me. You know what it reminds me of? I was a kid. I was a fan of like those monster movies with like Godzilla versus like,
Mothra.
And they're both like destroying the city.
Yeah.
But I get to see the two monsters fight.
Yeah.
So I'm like seeing GLP-1s affect heavily processed food companies.
Wow.
But now heavily food processed.
There needs to be a meme like that.
Yeah, like what's happening between? It's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting, right?
It's historic.
Yeah.
And especially now with GLP-1s becoming more and more mainstream and more people using them, and it's like this is a wild time. And this will be in history books and everything we're going through right now. I think it's going to be. I do think. I'm sure you've seen that the food companies are now trying to figure out ways to bypass GLP-1s. Like, it's fucking crazy.
What can you get?
It's crazy what we're living through. It's really extraordinary.
I think this is a cultural moment. I think it's similar. It's akin to the birth control pill or the introduction of antibiotics. I think it's going to be pre and post GLP-1.
Yeah.
You know what though? It's crazy to your point right about that, because I think that's so fascinating. I think what's even more crazy or fascinating to me about that point is that the public will be aware that these processed foods will come up with some sort of a chemical or something that is engineered that makes it bypass that GLP-1, and we will just eat it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like knowingly that they're like, hey, we figured out how to hack this GLP-1 and we're going to put it in your ho-hos and you're going to go eat those ho-hos still. Like that is wild.
Fat again.
It is wild to me.
Because we like the way they make us feel.
I know, but that's just, we're going to willingly do that. Like, okay, we found this great intervention that helps me not do that. And then yet we will turn around and still do that.
Dude, that's nothing, dude. We talked to Dr. Mike Israetel recently, and he talked about this generation of drugs that are coming up because of the popularity of GLP-1s. And this generation of drugs is designed to will help preserve muscle. Because one of the side effects of cutting your calories so low, by the way, everybody, it's not the GLP-1 making you lose muscle. It's not that you're not eating anything. Are these myostatin blocking and other types of drugs, which will basically make anabolic steroids look like Flintstone vitamins. So we're going to have a whole class of drugs that'll build muscle like we've never seen before come up as well.
That's crazy.
Wild.
Yeah.
We're in a weird time with all of this, which begs the question, are trainers and coaches going to be obsolete when you have medical interventions that are going to solve some of these issues?
Man, before you said that part about drugs that like build and maintain muscle, I would have said absolutely not, because now, and I was talking about this earlier today, it's like more people now are going to want to go to the gym. They're like, a lot of people, one of the reasons people wouldn't go to the gym before is they were not confident in how they looked. They were insecure. And now people are losing weight on GLP-1s, and I'm getting more and more people being like, what do I do in the gym? How do I want to get stronger?
I think the odds of someone going to GLP-1 and wanting a coach is higher than someone not.
100%.
They're more likely to want to hire a trainer.
Yes,
Fact.
completely agree.
Yep.
So from that perspective, I think we have a massive opportunity. The question is if there are going to be drugs that build muscle, now you've got another fucking problem.
Well, let me ask you this. So, because you're also, you're a great coach, also an exceptional athlete. Okay, cool. You built a lot of muscle. Can you move? Mm-hmm. Do you have better function?
Correct.
Do you still have better mobility, or are you just more muscular?
Right.
So I don't I think what's going to happen is you're going to get, I'll paint a scenario for you. Mrs. Johnson down the street goes into a GLP-1, myostatin inhibitor, loses weight, gets leaner, builds muscle. Then she hires a coach because she feels strong and feels good so she can move well and be able to express all this new muscle.
All I can think is the potential for injury.
Yeah, dude.
The accelerated amount of muscle that you can build. And then, you don't have that kind of maturity in that muscle.
But then you have drugs that could take away pain. So it's like I might not move well, but I don't feel it.
Pain is a good signal. It's a limiter and it's supposed to be there.
Yeah, let me ask you this too, Jordan. Although I do think that I think trainers and coaches, the value of them is going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
Even with more of these interventions. But let me ask you a question that you can communicate to our audience. Of all of the values that you've gotten through your own personal fitness journey, aside from being fit and healthy, are there any of the values you've gotten from the struggle and the challenge and the growth and the learning and the process and the discipline?
I mean, I don't even know if there's a way to articulate it fully. Like, it's changed my life in so many ways.
Right.
What I would say, and sort of cutting back for a second, it's like, let's just say we have GLP-1s help people lose weight. We have different things that'll help people build muscle. The most joy I've ever gotten out of training is when I have a specific goal. Like right now, you're trying to get 315 push press, right? Yeah. It's like, no matter how many GLP-1s, the only way you get that is that skill and the program for that thing. And then when you accomplish that thing, it's one of the most amazing feelings in the world. And so I do think that it would be great. Having performance-based goals and getting people to be like, I want to do that. Like, I want to do whether a marathon or a Ninja Warrior competition, or I want to deadlift X amount of body weight. Like, I do think that will be pushing people.
Well, the optimistic side of me says that. Like, okay, so we have so far the conversation's somewhat pessimistic on what's going to happen because they're going to be able to this, but maybe making the building muscle and burning body fat part easy, irrelevant. Yeah. They now start to focus on movement and strength.
It becomes fun.
Yes.
It's faster.
And it's like, I'm fine now. I'm like, I don't need to worry about body fat. I don't need to worry about muscle. That's easy.
You know what happens?
Frees you up to actually pursue it.
You know what will happen if we turn a bunch of everyday average people?
Takes that burden off of the people that feel like, oh, my whole life I've struggled with weight. It's like, well, that's easy. Take this, take that.
You know what it'll feel like for the average person to be able to burn body fat, build muscle through medical intervention. You know what they're going to want to do? Express it. They're going to want to go work out. They're going to want to go hike. They're going to want to go.
Well, it's like
cycling.
what we see. I mean, we've seen this in our time too. Obviously Silicon Valley and tech, like that exploded in our lifetime, and that caused just millions of people to have desk jobs and sit around all day. And what came of that? Your obstacle course racing. It's like, you got
going through hoops of fire.
Feeling dirt. Like
that's one of the things.
Paying to run through mud, climb, jump through fire, swim in freezing cold water. It's like there's a part of us that
man camps where they've got dudes like crawling on gravel. Yeah. And it's like yelling at them. It's people pay for this.
It just shows you how much that we internally are drawn to that and need that. Yeah. And so even if we find a way to hack all this stuff, we'll find our way back there. We'll find our way back to the struggle, back to the challenge, back to the competition. And so, I'm probably more bullish than bearish on the GLP-1s and the medical interventions.
Far more bullish. I think fitness is going to blow up if that actually all happens.
Yeah. And it'd be cool to see a bunch of people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s being athletes. Yeah. Right. Like being like, I saw a video of this like 75-year-old dude sprinting, like doing sprints the other day. And the whole comment section was like, I wish I could be like this guy. I wish I could be like that guy. It's like, I think we're going to see more of that. Yeah. And people are going to be, because right now, when you get people in their 30s and 40s, they're like, oh, back in my heyday, back when I was in high school, it's like, you could still do that. Yeah. Like you could, I think we're going to get to a point where we're seeing more and more people actually improving their athleticism and their quality of life and their performance far beyond what they've ever done in history. Yeah.
How's the podcast going? How are you enjoying that?
I love it. Yeah. I love this stuff. Like this
is that your favorite? What's your favorite form? Okay, so it's podcast. Yeah. Why is it? Because it's long form and you like it into discussion, or
I like having conversations. Like it's when you get to actually know people. The issue with the short form content is you have to deliberately craft it. It's deliberately and there's an art to it and there's a science to it. For this of a conversation. There's an argument to be made that there's an art and science to it, but it's much more just genuine. It's just, this is real.
You can't fake it, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I just like And I like that we can go off on tangents and there's not like, hey, this is what we need to say and this is what needs to happen in this 30-second video. It's like, I just like to chill and have a drink or a beer, whatever it is. I just want to have a conversation that's actually meaningful. So I love podcasts.
This episode's brought to you by the world's best electrolyte powder, LMNT. Go to drinklmnt.com/mind pump. They'll give you a free sample pack of their most popular flavors with any drink mix purchase. Back to the show. You're definitely a person, just hearing you talk today to our coaches and trainers and knowing you just through the years on the podcast, you're very much driven by like a sense of kind of purpose.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I feel good about doing this, so that's the direction I'm going to move.
Yeah.
And let me figure out a way to make this work for my life and maybe become a business, but I like moving in this direction.
Yeah.
What's your greatest source of purpose now for you in your life? Is it your family? Is it still fitness? Or are you looking in other directions? I know you do jiu-jitsu. I know you do a lot of different things.
I mean, the greatest source of purpose, I think, inherently is God.
Okay.
That I don't see another way around that.
Yeah.
In terms of like the source, right? Like it has to come from that. At least, speaking for myself, it has to. And then from that, okay, so if God is the source of it, then from there it's like, okay, family, making sure. So in Judaism, a major theme in Judaism is bringing God's light to this earth, right? So a lot of people ask in Judaism, they'll say, well, do you believe in heaven and all of that? And there is a concept of heaven in Judaism. It's called Olam Haba, like the world to come, but we don't talk about it as much. And it's not necessarily, the purpose of being here is not to live a certain way so we get there. The purpose of being here is to bring God's light, bring heaven to this earth. And so I do my best to pray every day. And listen, I'm not perfect at all. Like
You say
I
bad
sin,
words.
all that stuff. But like,
It's meaningful.
for me, the source of purpose comes from what can I do every day to bring God's light to this world.
Do you look at when you do things through that lens then? Like, okay, I'm going to do this podcast. How do I bring that to this podcast? Or I'm going to do this content, or I'm going to help this person. Is that the lens through which?
Always. In everything I do. And there's literally just a lesson. I was listening to a rabbi talk about this the other day. Like, if you have a gift, whatever your gift is, and you're not using that gift to positively impact other people, that's a huge sin. And so for me, like one of the reasons why I work so hard is because it's like, if I don't use this platform and this knowledge, it's like there are people who will not benefit as a result of it. It's like, that's why you have to work. You have to.
Did that shape or form different after having the kids, or has it changed at all for you? Like how you do that? Obviously, the you kind of explained the lens at which you look at it through. But did having the kids change anything for you?
I think it just made it a much more deep connection and much more belief than ever before. Like when you have these beautiful little angels that you're like, literal creation is so crazy. And then to see my wife go through pregnancy and childbirth and all that, like, and then to have these little kids. And then literally today, like after the seminar, I called really quick. I spoke to my oldest daughter. She's 2.5. And for the first time, I was outside and she was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm outside. And she doesn't have the concept of I'm in another state yet, but she said, where are you going? And it sounds so stupid when you say it, but like when you have kids and you watch them go from literally like nothing to you have this human asking you, where are you going?
Isn't that great? Yeah.
It's the craziest thing in the world. And so
cool.
all it's done is just solidified and deepened my belief in God. And again, I feel like it sounds pretentious when you talk like that. I'm not trying to sound pretentious. I'm not trying to sound perfect at all, but it's solidified my belief in a higher power, much greater than I could ever imagine. And
do you practice more of your faith more as a father than you did before?
Way more.
So it just totally brought. Have you seen the data on fathers and faith?
No.
Okay, so I brought this up on the show. The odds that the whole family will follow a faith if the mother is the first person to become devout is 17%.
Really?
You know what the number is if the father becomes the first person? 94%.
Holy shit. That's crazy.
It's a radical difference when the father does it, and you know, in your faith and in mine, where the men are told to lead spiritually. Did that strengthen you to see? Okay, this is what I need to do as a father. This is very important for me.
I mean, I was not aware of that data, which is crazy. It was more a thing of so I've always been, I'm Jewish, but not like, I hadn't always been super religious. I'd gone through phases, like when I would live in Israel. Ironically, when I lived in Israel, I was far less religious. I felt, because it's almost like it's just part of life there. Whereas when I would leave and I was away from it, I wanted to find a way to be closer to it.
Oh, that makes sense.
So that would bring me closer to it through practicing. But then having kids and just feeling this overwhelming connection to God, that has brought me closer to it. But it's one of those things where I guess when my wife and I are very serious about doing it, then the kids are going to be a part of it. And there wasn't really anything where I was like, hey, I'm not doing this for my kids. I'm doing this because I think this is the right thing to do. And that's it. It's not like, hey, I have kids now, so I should be doing this. It's more like, I have kids. I fully am bought in more than ever before. So this is what we're doing now, type of a thing.
What have been some of the challenges you've had with parenting, as far as like things that maybe you think is more important and she thinks less, or vice versa, that you guys have come across so far?
With my wife?
Yeah.
You know, we haven't really. Listen, my kids are 8 months and 2.5, so like we're not really having that crazy of a. It's still so early on.
Yeah.
I mean, the major things are the main reason I wanted a gym in the house is so they could see us working out.
Yeah.
It's super important.
Your wife pretty consistent with it as well?
Like stupid consistent.
Okay.
Like my wife is ruthlessly consistent, and she didn't. Listen, everyone's birth and pregnancy is different, but they were like, you don't work out for 6 weeks. And she was like, no. Like after giving birth, she was in the gym almost immediately, and she worked out throughout her entire pregnancy, and obviously adjusted intensity and volume, but like there was never a time that she just stopped working out.
Yeah.
And so that was the main reason we wanted a gym in the house, is so the girls could see us prioritizing fitness.
Yeah.
Put a rock wall in their playroom, and had got my daughter in gymnastics when she was 8 months old. And so like that, I think, and because you and I think we were talking about this yesterday about like if you do it as a kid, your ability to maintain or at least always have access to this athleticism is so much easier for the rest of your life. You can always come back to it.
Yeah.
And if I'm thinking like, what's the greatest gift I could give my children long after I'm gone, outside of creating a relationship with God and a higher purpose, is like the ability to use your body and the ability to stay healthy and to be confident in your ability to do it. And then if I also think about nostalgia, I think is the most powerful human emotion in the world. Like when you have a nostalgic feeling about something. I want my girls to be in the gym with us and have nostalgia around working out. So that when they're older, they can think, I used to work out with my dad. I used to work out with my mom.
Good feelings.
Like I want them. I don't want them to look at it as a punishment. I want them to look at it as like, this is something that I used to do as a kid, and I will always do it because every time I'm back in the gym, I get to think about great times with my parents. I think that's a really incredible gift you can give your kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how your wife stays at home and you work, you run the business.
Yep.
How is that dynamic? How does she support you? How do you help her? So I'm assuming she runs the house, obviously, because you're doing the work. You run the business. What does that look like with that dynamic?
I was talking earlier about how neither job is more or less important. Like you know who I love is Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
I love Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, he's great.
And there was someone called into his show one time, and there was basically someone was talking about how their finances were separated, and Dave went off.
I saw that one.
Dave was like, "What? When you get married, you're one. It's not. You don't allow someone certain finances. Like everything is shared together. Nope. I didn't feel comfortable doing a prenup. I didn't like the idea of going into a marriage being like, hey, what was mine before is like, no, it's like, this is forever. And I feel like lately people have been trying to find ways to almost to preemptively be like, if this doesn't work out, then we can end it and it's okay. It's like, that's not how you go into a marriage.
Yeah.
Like that's wild to me.
Yeah.
So both jobs are equally important. Being a mother, being a father, being a business owner, being in charge of the house. Like they're equally important. One is not more important than the other. There are some times when I have to sacrifice and I have to be like I'll give you an example. I had a podcast scheduled on May 9th in the morning, but my daughter is performing at her school. And I'm like, there's no way I'm missing that. So I canceled the podcast. It's like, it's not like work comes before everything else. It's like, I think family has to come first. And what we both have different roles that we've decided upon that equally contribute to the family. One is not better or more important. It's just, this is what we both have decided to do. So
how do you guys tackle nutrition? I know the 8-month-olds, but the two-year-old,
yeah.
How do you tackle nutrition? It's crazy to me that when you look at food for toddlers, we just talked about processed foods. They're all processed foods for toddlers. It's insane. How do you guys tackle nutrition?
A lot of it is based around what they see us eating. So like we do a really a concerted effort into making sure they're seeing us eat fruits, vegetables, proteins, very free. Like that's deliberately having family time and meal time, not just for the sake of the improvement of our family unit, but also so that they can see what are you eating, why are you eating. Like I'll have olives, or I'll have like we always have a tray of like fruits and vegetables out. So there's always like fruit, like, and my wife does this and she's amazing. Like there's always strawberries and blueberries and blackberries and red and green and yellow peppers, and they're all out. Which, by the way, is an amazing hack in terms of if you just have this stuff out, the kids are more likely to snack on it. Whereas if you don't have it out, but then you put it out with other stuff, well, why would they have that if they could have like the pirate's booty or whatever? So just having it always out, they're more like, okay, I'll have the carrots. Okay, I'll have the pepper. So there's always something like that out. And then that's always our first option. We also have ice cream almost every night, but it's a little bit. Like almost every single night, we're like, hey, you want some ice cream? You want some ice? Yeah, great. Sometimes she's like, no. Which is awesome. Like she's like, no, I don't want it. I'm like, cool, you don't have to have it then. But it's like it's a lot of let's fill up on the good stuff, and if you like some of the other stuff after, wonderful. But they see us prioritizing our health and fitness all the time.
I think what you said about leaving the food out. So my wife does that. We have this mini fridge that is supposed to be a wine fridge. But she turned it into the kids' fridge.
So smart.
And they can reach it, and those are called anytime foods. So anytime they're hungry, they can go in there and grab whatever they want, and she'll sneak different foods in there just because she wants them to try them. So like something that's bitter or something that's, whatever.
So
and they'll do it. They'll go play with it and they'll try something and be like, I like it. Or
That's
I don't
genius.
Like it.
It's great. Especially if like I want to eat something, they know they can go there. They open it up. It's right there. It's available. But if the option is between that and M&Ms, it's like, well, obviously I'm going to have the fucking M&Ms.
So will I.
Yeah, of course. Exactly. So to have those fresh, healthy foods always available, it increases the likelihood that you're going to have them. And then they can learn on their own. Oh, I feel better when I eat this. Almost every time, not almost every time, that's an exaggeration. A fair amount of time, if my daughter has a little bit too much chocolate or something, she'll be like, oh, my tummy hurts. I'm like, why does your tummy hurt? And we'll go through it. We'll try and go through like, well, what did you eat? Oh, okay. So did you have more chocolate than we told you to? Yeah. Okay. So now I don't shame her. I'm not like, you shouldn't do that again. I'm like, interesting. Okay. That's good to know. Now we know that for next time. Just like creating more self-awareness on what they're eating.
Yeah. You're a notoriously hard worker. What does that look like with kids? Because you put a lot of hours in. I love you telling the story of, when you early days of training, you didn't take a day off for like 3 years or something like that.
No, yeah.
But when you have girls, you love them so much, your kids, like, what does your schedule look like now? Has it changed?
So it has changed, but I still work very, very hard. The main thing is usually Shabbat, Friday night, Saturday night, no work.
So completely off.
Completely off.
Okay, and it's all family time, basically.
It's all family time. No Instagram, no social media, no publishing content.
Explain Shabbat. So that means no work and no, like, what are the rules on that?
So the rules are pretty strict. I don't follow all the rules.
Okay.
The main thing is like I'm just going to take time off of work.
Okay.
But there are like technically, depending on who you're talking to, electricity. You're not supposed to be using electricity. You're not supposed to be driving. I'm like, no, I'm doing that.
Right.
But I mean, for example, if you are in Israel or if you're in Jerusalem, for example, depending on where you are in Tel Aviv, it's not like this. But in Jerusalem, like everything is closed. Like, and
that's Friday, Saturday.
Yep. Off. Friday night to Saturday night. And then on Saturday night, shops will start opening again after sundown. So Saturday night, like nothing is open, or all day Saturday, nothing is open. And then at like 7:30 p.m., all of a sudden shops start opening, which is great because it's built into the country.
I was just going to say so much value on that culturally. Because when you're in a culture like that, like you're kind of forced to like take time off, and it's okay. It's not like everybody else is
a
working.
known thing. Everybody agrees upon it.
I have a friend who's a lawyer, and like they will not get calls. Even if there's everyone knows it's a high profile case, something's going on, you are not legally allowed to call someone about work on Shabbat.
See, that's interesting.
Like it is not allowed. So it's I think it's wonderful.
I think there's some real value.
Incredible value. Yeah. Well, I mean, what's wild about that is that's been a tradition for forever, right? For a very, very long time. And you think about the time we're in with tech and
you get texts and emails 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there was ever a period of time when that was probably more valuable than right now.
Agreed.
To practice that. So it's wild to think that's something that's a very, very old.
The origin of that, right, was to just rely on God. So like you don't work because you rely on Him 2 days a week.
So it comes from on the seventh day God rested.
That's it.
Right? So that's and 7 is Sheva, so Shabbat. It's like it's the Sabbath. It's the holiest day. And then on for Christianity, it's on Sunday. And in Islam, it's on Friday. And so it's
So you're off those 2 days, and then the rest of the days you work a lot.
Yeah, I work a lot, and basically, I will never miss putting my girls down to sleep. That's a hard.
Do you put them down?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I will never miss putting them to sleep.
What's that look like? Because that process can take a long time.
It's World War III. It's wild. It's
that you'll miss forever one day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's crazy. It's,
they don't want to go to sleep, and you just got to make it happen.
They don't want to go to sleep, and my oldest is becoming very manipulative and figuring out ways to extend it.
Yeah,
and
I'm
so,
thirsty.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
I need a yogurt now. It's like, and then I'll bring the yogurt, and then she'll pretend to eat it, and she's not actually eating it. Just it's crazy, dude. And then I'm whipped, so I'll just be like, I'm happy to stay with you, but then I'll work until 2 a.m. Or like lately, my workouts are between 10 at night and 2 a.m.
Oh, wow.
And then I wake up early, and then I start working before they're up. And so the thing I'm sacrificing is sleep.
Yeah.
The thing I sacrifice right now is, and that's always been my, like the one thing I'll is sleep.
Yeah.
That's what, in order to do. And I'm not saying that's good or healthy. I'm not saying it's great. I'm not telling anyone else to do it. Yeah. But for me personally and historically, if I need to work, I'll sacrifice sleep in order to make it happen. And so I literally stopped training jiu-jitsu for a while because I was training jiu-jitsu in the evening. And I was like, I'm missing putting my daughters down. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So I literally stopped, and now I'll train jiu-jitsu at a different time so that I don't miss putting my daughters to bed. Like I will not miss that.
So is this a break for mom? Is she not doing the bedtime and you do it?
No, she doesn't want to miss it either. So we both every night.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, we all do prayers at night, and like we all hang out and we have dinner together. So basically from 4 p.m. until about 7:30 every day is family.
Is there something that you do that is just your daughter's just something special that dad does? Like, is it to play with them, roughhouse?
Roughhouse, like, yeah.
That's the
like,
thing.
Like, we have a trampoline, take her outside, like, go nuts and sprint it. Like, yeah, it's a lot of roughhousing. Go on the jiu-jitsu mats and roll around. Like, she just likes to hang from stuff. So, like, hanging in the gym, playing with, like, it's a lot of roughhousing.
Yeah. I find some of that stuff cool. Like, my kids, I tell stories. They love the stories that I tell. So, and I get so tired sometimes. Like, tell me the story. And then they tell me all the elements of the story that they want.
What are the stories?
Oh God. It's like, can you tell me a story? What kind do you want? Of dinosaurs. And then my little one's like, Bunny. Okay. Bunny's going to be in it too. And candy. Okay.
And do you make it up?
I just make them up on the spot.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And they're fun. And I got to like, sometimes I'm too tired to like think of a story.
Yeah.
But I'll do it. And then I like to use them to get at my wife sometimes because she's better at everything with them than I am. So we're like, no, let mom tell the story. And my wife's like, she can't come up with a story on the spot. Oh yeah, that's
they'll
what
remember that forever, and they'll do that with their kids. They'll want to do story time.
Yes, absolutely love it.
So
how about now training wise? You've been doing this for a long time. Some people don't even know that you trained with some of the best powerlifting coaches in the world. Very well versed. Is there anything new in the training horizon that you're excited about? Anything you like to either do or talk about or work with your coaches with?
So, I mean, I've been obsessed with mobility lately.
Okay.
And circling back to what we were talking about, people not feeling good. And it's like, so I'm going to toot my own horn on this one. fitness goes through phases. We had like the functional training phase many years ago, and then we had powerlifting was really, really huge. And so I think, I don't know, tell me if you agree or disagree, probably around 2018, 2019, we started to see a huge surge towards hypertrophy training again. And I was like, people are going to not be moving well. Because you know what happened with the hypertrophy phase or craze was everyone being like, you got to train to failure all the time. And I was like, yo, you guys do this for a few years, you're going to be fucked. And so I really started to get into mobility stuff. And so I've been just loving it. I really wanted to get the splits. I'm like very close with the side splits. My front splits I've got.
Explain how you're going to do this, because the application
videos is crazy.
The training for flexibility and mobility are different than training for hypertrophy or speed or strength in terms of frequency and whatever. What does this look like?
You know what's crazy? It's really not that different.
Oh, so explain that.
Yeah, so I do it's funny when you hear about flexibility, everyone's first reaction is, all right, I'm going to do stretching every day. I'm like, why the fuck is that your first reaction?
Yeah.
It's like, if you want to create an adaptation, you have to apply enough stress and a high enough level of intensity in order for your body to adapt to that. It's like, if you're just doing like this overhead stretch, like half-assed. Imagine if people went to the gym and did a half-assed bicep curl. They're not ever going to stress their muscles enough to cause an adaptation. Same thing with mobility and flexibility. I have 1 session a week for my front split and 1 session a week for my side split. And that's
How
it.
long?
Long, at least 2 hours.
And this is all, wow. And is it a lot of static stretching plus dynamic stretching?
So it's funny. When we say stretching, it's strength training in greater ranges of motion.
Right.
That's all it is.
FRC stuff.
A lot of FRC stuff.
Yeah.
But like, for example, it could be like I'll do a hip flexor stretch, but load it. So I'll load it with 30-pound dumbbells and I'll do like 10 pulses, 10 reps, and then I'll rest, or then I'll do the other side.
Yep.
And it's fucking brutal.
It sucks.
It's absolutely devastating. I would rather do super heavy Bulgarian split squats than I would do this. It's fucking horrible. But it's crazy, and it's just 1 a week, just 1 session a week, and then I have other sessions. My training schedule right now runs on a 10 to 12 day time frame. So rather than it being 7 days, it's about a 10 or 12 day cycle. And I'll have push-pull legs within that 10 or 12 day cycle. I have one front split day, one side split day, and then I'll have a plyometric day, and I'll have a couple zone 2 cardio days. So it's about a 10 or 12 day cycle, so I can fit everything into that time frame. If I was trying to fit it all into 7 days, it wouldn't all fit. So I just made my week
That's
longer.
really cool. I don't think I've had somebody, it's so funny that
We get so locked in.
I know we get locked into a 7-day week in 24 hours. It's
I can't fit it all.
Yeah, the body doesn't work that way.
It doesn't
Nothing says you can't have a plan that takes 10 to 12 days to accomplish. And then the freedom of that is like, okay, I got to get a push day in, I got to get a pull day in, I got a leg day in.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to get 2 mobility. So I got 5 days of work. Trying to fit that in 7 days. I know I'm going to miss more than that. I'm going to stretch that over 12 or 15 days. And as long as I do that,
a lot more leeway that way. And that way, like, there's a lot more flexibility in terms of, for example, if there's one day where I'm like, I'm fucking exhausted. I can only give 30 minutes to a light session, but I had like a 2-hour flexibility session planned. I'll just swap it. I'll be like, I'll do zone 2 cardio tonight for 30 minutes, go to bed, and then tomorrow I'll hit my flexibility session. And it's no harm done.
It's funny what you say too about mobility and flexibility. I remember first meeting my wife. She traveled with Cirque du Soleil for a while.
Wow.
And she didn't. She wasn't on stage. She worked for them, but she ended up becoming very proficient at the silks. I mean, could sit in the splits, 1 foot in each side,
wild.
spin, and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And she never worked out before that. And I said, "How did you get to be able to do that kind of stuff?" She goes, "Well, I watched the Russians work out and I watched the coaches stretch them, and I thought they were hurting these people. Like, some of them are kids and they'll just grab their legs and they're wrenching on them, and there's like intensity. And she's like, so I started to do that to myself and train with them.
Yeah.
And it was brutal. She's like, but within a year I could do all this crazy stuff. So what you're saying is so true.
They're doing loaded stretching because someone else is doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the data, by the way, on that for people who are like, I just want to build muscle, there's actually a hypertrophy effect.
Yes, there is.
There is a hypertrophy effect from doing that, and combining it with strength training is actually pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Well, it's
At what you
interesting
build.
too, what I've learned, and I'm watching a lot of your lower back, like kind of fixed videos and all that, which are great too. Like the hip flexor, a lot of people, I mean, they're not strong.
Yeah.
And that's really like, it's something that's been even more apparent to me because the first thought is like, let's stretch this out and let's be in a passive stretch.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
you know, figure that out. But really, I need to work on the strengthening.
Yes. That for me was a huge unlock in terms of my thoughts on stretching was it's just passive. When you actually start to look at stretching as an opportunity to strengthen it,
Yes.
and I think when I first started, I was like, how could stretching strengthen? It's like, well, you haven't tried it. Like you have, if you go through, like do a program, like learn how to actually use stretching in these longer positions.
Using weights, like you're using
Use weights,
dumbbells.
but even an
and into-
isometric hold, for example, like if you use go in a long lunge, keep your back leg straight, you're essentially going into a hip flexor stretch, but you isometrically hold that
Yep.
for 30 to 60 seconds. Good fucking luck. Like that's brutal.
Well, people don't. So, I think we have to understand the concept of or the reason why someone's tight in the first place. I think what we conceptualize is like a tight muscle, like a rubber band that's really tight. But that's not what's happening. If you tore the muscle off your body and threw it on the floor, it would have maximum flexibility because there's nothing telling it to tighten up.
Correct.
It's all central nervous system.
Correct.
So what you're doing by strengthening the muscle through those ranges of motion is telling the central nervous system it's okay.
It's safe.
It's exactly
It's okay
right.
to have this length.
Yep.
You're
The reason why
protected,
you're tight
safe.
in the first place is not because the muscles are tight. It's because your central nervous system is saying, we got to keep you in this short range of motion
not
because
safe
we don't
to be
feel
here.
safe moving. So
exactly
strengthening is how you get more flexible.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
If someone who thinks they're really tight dies, you can move them around.
Oh,
no problem.
All of a sudden they're super
All of a
flexible.
sudden they're flopping
Bernie.
all over the place. You can put their leg behind their head because there's no central nervous system telling them that they're in a dangerous spot.
Yes.
Same thing if someone goes into a coma, all of a sudden, okay, like you can fucking move them around. It's no problem at all. But if you don't use it, you lose it. And it's true. If you don't use the range, then your body's going to be like, why the fuck do I need it?
Yeah. Have you ever heard heard those stories where they say I actually talked to a friend who got in an accident, but they didn't get hurt because they were knocked out before the car started flipping. Their body was so loose.
Yep.
And
heard
I've
about
heard of
that.
this before.
Yeah.
And I think it has to do with the CNS.
Yep.
To where otherwise when you're awake and you're tight and then you start tearing stuff.
That's exactly right.
Because of that.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, which is pretty wild.
Yeah.
So how much progress have you made in your ability in this
Front splits
pursuit?
I've got. Front splits, like, I can show you a picture if you want.
Where did you start? Where did you start and how long did it take you before you could do it?
Yeah, we like John Claude Van Damme levels.
So that's literally why I like here's
'Cause of
my,
him?
That's
No
my
way.
front split.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh shit.
Legit.
But I'll show you like where I started here. That's where I started.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
So like
How long did it take? And
a year and a half.
wow,
A year and a half, but it was again one session a week for my front split.
that's it.
That was it. It's about 2 hours. And it's just a lot of for the front split, it's hip flexor, strengthen and lengthen,
Yep.
hamstring strengthen and lengthen, and then also a lot of compression strength. So like when you're with
What do
that,
you mean by that?
What I mean by that is like the front leg out here, right?
Yeah.
The front leg. It's not just about having your hamstring be loose or mobile enough. It's also about having strength enough here to bring this up.
Yeah.
Right, to raise your leg. So that's
So it needs to be
compression
strength that's shortened and
so
compressed
that's
position.
like pike holds, like pikes.
Yeah.
That's you're strengthening your lower abs to lift this up in that lengthened position. So that's what you're really working on for a front split is those three things, and then a side split, obviously adductor length, and mobility and flexibility, but also the strength of them, and then your glute med. Getting strong enough to be able to like lift out to
Yeah.
the side. That's anytime I finish a side split session, my glutes are lit the fuck up
Yeah.
because it's not just about letting myself sink down. It's about pulling
it out.
your leg. It's
Wow.
abducting.
Which
So
sucks.
it's dude,
It
it's
hurts.
brutal.
Yeah.
And
Any
it's-
for men,
any
that's,
secondary any
brutal.
secondary benefits that you didn't think were gonna have that ended up having? Like, oh shit,
my back feels fucking awesome.
I
my
bet.
back feels like butter.
That's what I was
like.
searching
I
for.
can put my girls in their cribs, no problem. Throw them up, like, and it's I'm only 33. But there's a lot of dudes my age who have kids who come over and like I'm the one carrying their kids running around the backyard.
You also have a history of heavy ass deadlifts.
Yeah,
in the past. What was your top deadlift at one point?
530.
530. At what body
At
weight?
132.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So now you're saying your back feels even better.
Dude, better than it's felt since high school.
Wow.
Powerlifting didn't help my back. Like my back did not feel great when I was training at Westside and
5
pulling.
times your body
Like
weight.
just didn't feel good.
Gave you cool points though.
Well, yeah, it gave me a lot of cool points. But now I can still deadlift 405 pretty easily, like cold. Like if we get the bar out there, I could deadlift 405, like probably on like my second attempt. Go 315 first, no problem, then 405. But now I can also do that and then drop it in the splits,
That's
and then I can do a
okay.
backflip, and it's fine. Like for me is so. You know who I really am just blown away by is Juji Mufu.
Oh, I know.
I
He's
love
such
that guy.
He's such
Dude,
an
he's such
anomaly.
a
That's
strength
fucking
and flexibility
Yeah.
to the nth
awesome.
degree.
Just the most extraordinary.
He almost doesn't
athleticism.
make sense.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't
and
make sense.
I'm so enamored by that guy.
Yeah,
And like
he's so curious about everything
Yes,
too. He
dude,
just takes it all on.
He approaches it in the best from curiosity and passion.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's like,
cool
and
to
there's
watch.
never like then he does aerial stuff where he's
Yeah.
it's like that's what we all get so
He's having
locked
fun
in.
with it,
It's like, well, I'm an Olympic lifter, or I'm a power lifter, or I'm this. It's like, well, I think we should just learn it all.
Have you ever met John in person before?
No.
Oh, he's a cool cat.
I would love to.
Yeah.
He's really
we had him on
interesting. You should have him on
before
the
anyone
show.
knew who he was.
Really?
Yeah, so he was long before. I mean, he must have. I mean, he maybe had 60,000 followers back then. Chimera Coffee. He had no sponsors. Chimera Coffee was the very first sponsor that ever sponsored this show 8 years ago. And they also had found him. So they were really good. These guys that had this coffee company were really good at finding like up and coming talent. They found us when no one had known who we were. We were still really small. They had found Juji when he was really small. And so they introduced us and he came on the show when we were like,
That's awesome.
yeah. And we met. He's like a super nerd.
I believe
Yeah,
it.
he's super like tech nerd guy.
Oh,
and like,
really?
oh yeah, he's very like he's very methodical about everything that he does. So he comes off as kind of goofy and kind of
spreadsheet guy.
Yeah, just having fun, but he's like very
deliberate.
Very deliberate. Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean,
no, he's-
achieving that level of proficiency in so many different things
yes.
is wild.
in a body that it doesn't look like it should be able to do
No.
that.
You know what's funny? You're talking about flexibility. I feel like because muscle building has finally becoming mainstream.
Yeah.
Finally, it's took a long time, but it's finally the value and the importance of it and what it does for just longevity and health, not just how you look. It's finally starting to go mainstream. I think what you just did is called the next big trend.
Yeah.
Which is flexibility or mobility.
Yeah.
Like real flexibility and mobility.
That's what I think
that
is
might
going
be
to
the
happen.
next big trend.
It's because people are going to need it. Like they're
It
gonna,
makes sense that it would
Yes.
follow.
Yeah. And that's where I think that's what happened. I think we've already seen the cycle. So we saw like bodybuilding was huge in like the 60s, 70s, 80s. We see that like that natural bodybuilding era. Then the functional training era came right after.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was partly because of that. I think we're seeing the cycle repeat.
That's an interesting theory on that. Now, because we came on the scene when the beginning of the functional stuff really kicked off. With
bro.
stability balls and foam
Yes.
pads and
Yeah.
balancing on
I know, that was
everything.
real
Like
stuff.
Everything
Yeah.
on one leg.
yeah,
and
Yes.
that was like we talk
like
about this a
circus
lot.
stuff.
That it just like anything in this space, right? It typically comes from a place of good that we need to do. Then it gets bastardized, right? And like as the end all be all, it's the only thing. It's the truth, you know.
Yes.
And then everybody shits on it, like, oh, those guys doing balance stuff, right? It's like, well, there's some things in
Yes.
there that were probably pretty good. Don't
Yes.
throw everything out there. So I think that's a pretty good prediction. I think that I don't think I'd argue with you that there's a good chance that's probably going to come back around. We're due for it. That was 20 something years ago.
Yeah.
It was 20 something years ago when that was like a popular thing when all that stuff came on.
I think people have, thank God, gotten really into strength training and building muscle.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this is really, really cool. And now they're going to start seeing like, okay, I was told that I shouldn't stretch because stretching is going to make me weaker. But that person, and that person are doing like splits. Well, like Juji Mufu is like holding splits, and he's literally lifting 100-pound dumbbell in the Jean-Claude Van Damme splits.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense because if what I was told was true, then that wouldn't be possible. And that person's
Right.
doing it. And figure skaters are figure skating while holding someone overhead on the ice and smiling. Clearly they're strong as shit, but also flexible enough to be able to do that. I think people are going to realize, oh, I could get strong in these longer positions and I can just get better and better and better and better. And what I've been told is essentially has been a myth. It's been a lie. Like I could do it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Nutrition wise, if you have to give one, I know you probably hate questions like this. You got to give one tip to the average person that's going to make the biggest impact. Just one tip. They want to get fit or more fit. They want to lose some weight, get a little healthier.
Yeah.
They can only do one thing.
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
I'm going to specify I'm only talking to the majority of America.
Yes.
I'm not talking to the smaller percentage of people who have eating disorders or any of that.
Correct.
To the vast majority of America, don't eat like an asshole.
That's
You've been hanging out with
That's my
dude.
line, bro.
That's it, dude.
That's my line.
Is that your book?
That's
You
it.
guys are the same cloth.
Yeah, bro, that's my line.
That's it.
I say that
Okay.
all the time.
I love it.
That's it.
And we could add on. And if and when you do eat like an asshole, don't treat yourself like an asshole. Just like you accept
Oh, that's great.
it, then get back on it, right?
I think
good follow-up.
I think the other part of that, because I think that's I love that line and I use that all the time because and personally myself, it's like I know when I do that.
Yeah.
Like have some self-awareness.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you can get away with eating a lot of foods that are quote unquote bad for you so long as you don't eat like an asshole. It's when I go back and I smash the whole pint.
Yep.
You know, or I finish that and then I go have another serving of something else. It's like, and I know when I'm doing it. You know, I think what we try and do is we disassociate ourselves from those moments, and then I don't know why I'm like this. You know, it's like, really?
I know why.
Yeah, I know why.
Yeah.
Come on, let's be honest with ourselves.
When was the last time you ate like an asshole? Or does that never happen?
No, of course it happens. Recently, sometimes like when I'll eat ice cream, I'll eat it when I'm not hungry. And I'll just be like, well, I mean, I have this. I might as well just eat it. So probably within the last month, I ate like a whole pint when I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But then I ate it and I felt like shit.
But you didn't.
That's
treat
the other
yourself
thing.
like-
So that's the other step to this, right? So I just did it last weekend. It was my mother-in-law's 75th birthday, and they made like my sister-in-law.
That's where you had all the cake.
Yeah, the cake. Yeah. And I just I ate a lot of cake.
Some cake.
I know exactly what it
And
was.
my stomach hurts after. I mean, I hurt afterwards.
How much cake did you eat?
It was a lot, dude. It was probably like a normal size cake for a birthday.
No, all by yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Shut the
Yeah,
fuck
okay,
up.
bro.
Pretty close. Yeah, pretty close. I'm a
Was
big
it
guy
ice
though. I'm
cream
like
cake?
230. I'm a big guy. You know what I'm saying?
Were you crying?
And I'm the fat
No,
guy,
I know I'm eating like an asshole in that moment. Like I know that every normal sign in my body is saying like you're good.
Yeah.
Like you were already full when you started this, and then after the first
But
big
it
piece,
just-
you
once it
were
hits your
really
lips.
yeah,
It's
dude.
like Frank the Tank.
It's like
Once
so
it
I'm
hits your
very
lips,
aware
it's
of
so
those
good.
moments, you know. And so there's probably a sadistic part for me, like where I'm like, I just need to make sure, like, oh yeah, this is really bad. You know, let me make sure it still makes me feel awful.
Yeah.
And then sure it does. And I'm like, yeah, there it is. So
I
I
remember-
don't know. I think a lot of people they just disassociate themselves in those moments. And it's like, first become aware and then do your best to not do that a lot. You know?
Correct.
And so, and then I think the next thing after that is like, if you build a lot of muscle, it does really support and help in those situations because the worst thing that I think people do is use running and just calorie cutting as their form of getting in shape, and then they eat like an asshole.
It was very protective effect.
And the combination of that is these crazy swings of weight gain where if you really just focus on strength training, try and get strong and build muscle, hopefully some of them extra calories get partitioned over to building some muscle and building the metabolism so that the next time that you have those moments, because we all do, it isn't as damaging to you. And then you're also aware and you're awake in those moments. You go,
Your biceps got bigger from that.
yeah. Temporarily, I look good after that cake. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, temporarily I look good, but I don't feel good afterwards.
I think it's just bloat.
That's the thing, though. It's like it'll happen,
Yeah.
but then it's over.
That's right.
That's it. And then
That's right.
and then the rest of for a while you're dialed, and then occasionally it happens again.
That's another great point. Is the next thing that the average client does is then they spiral out
Yes.
of that. It's like
The
the next day I get up and like I'm remembering how I felt and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, clean eating from now on because I want to feel good.
Yep.
Not because which is the opposite of what most people do. Most
Correct.
people go like, I fucked up last night. Well, F it off.
Yes.
You know, now I'm eating pancakes and syrup this morning and then now it's
Exactly.
on, right? And so
It's always how people. It's funny when I was in college. people would handle their hangovers by going to get like greasy food.
Yeah.
And it never made sense to me. Like they'd go get all this, and I'd be like, I'm
doesn't?
gonna
It
make
makes
like a
sense to me a little
blueberry
bit.
strawberry smoothie.
like
Biscuits and gravy, bro. That was ours afterwards.
It never made sense to me.
You know
'cause
what
I feel like shit again.
You know what it is? The
You need
psychological
electrolytes, homie.
the psychological phenomena of it is that these hyper palatable foods, there's a bit of comfort that comes from eating them, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally like a drug.
Yeah.
So I feel so shitty. Let me temporarily feel good eating a cheeseburger,
Yeah.
even though afterwards I'm gonna feel way worse.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
probably
It's
right.
like trying to fix a hangover with another beer.
Yeah.
Temporarily, like, I feel a little better. And then, oh,
The hair of the dog.
I thought there's some
wait,
science
wait.
to that. And there's
There
science
is.
that, I was gonna say, because
Yeah.
your blood sugar crashes really hard, and that's what causes the hangover.
It's part
and
of
then
it.
The
But
alcohol
part of it is
brings
just,
it back up a
part
little
of it is
bit.
you just feel bad, which is why shame doesn't work. You feel
Correct.
really shitty about yourself. You're going to temporarily, you're more likely to temporarily medicate with food.
Yep.
Even though it makes you feel shittier
Yep.
later on. That's just humanity.
My client Connie bakes us, and like every quarter she'll send us, and I remember what it was now. She made us this cinnamon toast crunch marshmallow cake,
Oh, God.
and I ate the whole thing.
Oh my god.
Did you get diabetes?
That's like crack.
Basically, we buy so much ice cream that
CPC?
when I go to Walmart and check out, the woman behind the counter one time she looked at me straight up. She was like, "You're gonna get diabetes."
No, she didn't.
Just swear to God. And then the next time I came in, I wasn't buying ice cream. I was just going in like pick like diapers up or something. She was like, "You got diabetes?"
Like, do you know who I am? I'm a
I
trainer,
love when
man.
CVS people like are concerned about your health.
It's so
You're
funny.
checking out. They're like, oh.
Good stuff, man. You're always a blast to have on the show.
No,
Hang
thank you guys
around.
for having me.
We appreciate you so much.
Yeah, we think of you as family, bro.
For the audience that doesn't know, you came in and you spoke to a group of trainers and coaches that attended one of our courses.
Lots and lots of value.
And I have to say, probably definitely one of the high points of the whole day. I could
Thank
see
you.
just the questions they were asking, and you were giving them such good practical information and very good, honest information. So we appreciate you. You're definitely one of the good guys in the space.
I love you guys. Thank you for having me out. It's a blessing to have you in my life, and you had an amazing event that you put on today. Hopefully next time, like it like triples, quadruples in size. Like it was really extraordinary, and the video about all the success stories you guys have had was
God.
really incredible to see people saying thank you for all the stuff you've done for them. So it's thank you for having me. It truly is a blessing to be connected with you guys and to be here.
All right, I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. Shredded, ripped, defined, single-digit body fat.
Yes.
You want to get there? Let's talk about it.
Difficult. And is it worth it? That's a follow-up question.
Yeah,
to that.
first off, we got to say that, okay, so single-digit body fat, obviously, body fat percentages that can be represented by one digit, like 3%, 5%, 6%, 9%. That's ripped for men. For women,
Add 10%.
yeah, exactly. You go up about